Our second nominee this evening is the consummate PGA professional. Admired across the state for his dedication to his craft and love of the game, his spirit and passion still live in the hallways of this very club. I'd like to welcome John Lewandowski to this stage to introduce our next inductee, Stan Lencki.
Lisa, that's a tough act to follow. And I gotta tell you, I got a call a few weeks ago from Glenn. He asked me if I'd come up and say a few words tonight regarding Stan. Stan was my cousin. I said, sure, I'd be glad to. For the last few weeks I've been looking around for some information on Stan and putting something together. I'd get up here and talk about it. And I gotta tell you, I don't know what I'm doing up here. After John Wachowski, Pete Smith, and reading this brochure that we have tonight, that's it. I mean, he stole a lot of my thunder. So I'm going to have to do it on the fly. One thing I did want to mention that hasn't been covered. Stan Lencki, a lot of you here tonight that knew Stan know the story. And for you people that don't know Stan or didn't know him very well, this will show you the kind of guy that Stan was. Stan was 22. His wife, Pat, was 21. There was 8 kids in his family. His parents had 8 kids. Stan was the oldest. When Stan was 22 years old, there was tragedy in the family. Their parents passed away at a very early age. Stan was the only one, was the oldest. He was married. The rest of them were at home. They weren't. Stan and his wife decided, they had a decision to make. He wasn't going to see the family break up. So he brought the kids to his house, and they raised those kids. Stan had 4 of his own, 1 at the time, and all this was happening, I'm told, with 1 bathroom in the house. I'm sure there were some tense moments in that household. But Stan was working he was an assistant pro at Manchester Country Club. He was working 6, 7 days a week, 7 o'clock in the morning till 7, 8 o'clock at night. He got off easy. Pat was home with all the kids. They 21 years old and instant family. Talk about an instant family. Wow. So, but they hung in there, and he did a hell of a job because they all turned out great. And one by one, they left the nest as they got older. But Stan and his wife were, that's Stan and Pat. They were tremendous people, and you know, come hell or high water, they were going to keep that family together, and they did. That was Stan. Now, like I say, I had to change this thing. I played a lot of golf in my early years, all over New England, with my good partner, Danny Avanitis. I learned a long time ago, never leave home without him. And so we played in Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Maine. We played all over. And wherever the tournament was, when they heard we were from Manchester, New Hampshire, the pro from the club, the tournament director, whatever, come out, and they said, you guys are from Manchester? Yeah. Stan Lencki, Manchester Country Club? I don't care where we were. Everybody knew Stan. I mean, the accolades for Stan were just unbelievable. That's the kind of guy he was. And on another personal note, I started caddying at Manchester Country Club when I was 12 years old. And Stan took me under his wing. He was the caddy master, gave me a few tips on what to do, what not to do. And then when I was 14, Manchester Country Club had a program where on Monday mornings the caddies could play 9 holes. There was 30, 40 caddies at the time. They didn't have golf carts at the time, so caddies were pretty popular. And most of the caddies played on Monday morning. I wasn't playing. Stan came up to me one day, he says, John, he says, I noticed you're not playing with the caddies on Monday morning. He says, what's the matter? You don't like golf? I said, no, Stan. I love golf. I said, but I've only got 2 clubs. I've got a 3-iron and a 2-wood. And I said, every day when I get home from caddying, there's a big field behind my house, and I go hit balls until it gets dark. I love golf. I said, I'm saving my money so that, you know, when I get enough money, I can buy a second-hand set of clubs and I can join the boys playing Monday morning. He says, come with me. You guys remember the old pro shop? They had club storage in the back room. He took me back there and he says, all right, let's see what we got here. Found an old bag, leather bag. He said, this'll do. Then he says, there's a barrel back there, huge barrel with a lot of second-hand clubs in it, used clubs and whatever. He said, let's see what we got. So he started pulling out some irons. Put together a set of irons for me. He says, all right, you got a 2-wood. He said, no, you need a couple more woods. He found a 3 and a 4 wood. He said, this'll do. He said, now, he said, you need a putter. Got me a putter. I said, you're all set. And he got me head covers to go with the woods. And he said, yeah, you're all set. I said, oh, geez, thanks, Dan, that's great. He said, oh, no, one more thing. He says, you're gonna play golf, you gotta have golf shoes. Oh, golf shoes, wow. I was about 5 feet tall. I didn't weigh 100 pounds. And my feet were about this big. And he looked, he says, well, this is gonna be a problem. He looked around, I'm in his locker room, he found the smallest pair of shoes he could find, and they were still 2 or 3 sizes too big for me. He said, put these on. So I did. Said, how do they feel? I said, they're a little big. My feet were flapping around. He said, take them off, I'll fix that. Took them off, he took some old newspapers, stuffed them in the toes. He said, put them on now. He said, how do they feel? I said, perfect. I wasn't taking them off or anything. So he says, okay, you're all set. Now you go out and play Monday morning. So I did. And he got me going on the game of golf, which I fell in love with and never stopped playing and still play today. But as time went on, I had some success on the amateur circuit in New Hampshire, and after one of my victories, I ran into Stan a few days after that, and he says, congratulations. He shook my hand, big smile on his face, and he says, you've done well. I says, yeah, thanks to you. You know where this all started, don't you? He looked at me with a smile, a little twinkle in his eye, and he says, yeah, I do. And I says, yeah, but the best part of that is the golf shoes, what you did with the newspapers in the toe. I said, that made it happen. And he just laughed. He says, well, he says, it served you well. So, you know, it sure did. And Stan, over the years, I belonged to Derryfield. I've been up there for 60 years. And could never afford Manchester. But Stan knew I loved Manchester Country Club. It was my favorite golf course. Always has been, always will be. And I was in sales, so I had a pretty flexible schedule. And he'd call me up this time of the year. He didn't play much, but he would play in the fall when things slowed down. And with guys like Bob Ackerson, Ray Roberts, see you tonight, Joe Griswack, Earl Trider, and he'd call me up and he'd say on Tuesday or so, he said, John, he says, I need a 4th for Thursday, 1 o'clock. Can you make it? I said, you better believe it. I'll be there. So he did this a number of times for me. I'd come over, we'd play, and he knew I was thrilled. I think he was more happy about it than I was. But that's Stan. Stan was just such a great guy, and I mean, and really, I had a lot more to say, but this says it all. What's in there? That. And thanks, Pete, John. But you know, that's in closing. I just want to say, Stan Lencki may be gone, but he'll never be forgotten. Thank you.